Welcome to another St. Pete by Night production. The following is rated for mature audiences and may contain graphic themes that will be distressing to some viewers. As always, we recommend you ensure the safety and well-being of yourself and those around you at all times. Viewer discretion is advised.
Good evening and welcome to the St. Pete by Night Entertainment Network. St. Petersburg by Night is an online World of Darkness role-playing community originated in St. Petersburg, Florida, and now spreading to the world at large. My name is Kent, also known as Kent on all social media, and I will be your storyteller tonight. And it's Sunday night, and you know what that means. It's time for Red Tide Rising, our Vampire the Masquerade chronicle set in the city of Tampa, Florida, where a coterie of young anarch kindred attempt to carve out a piece of property for themselves amidst all of the politics and drama that take place within this world of darkness. And boy, howdy, are we going to be starting off with a bang. But before we get to all of that, let me remind you to go follow St. Pete by Night on all of that social media you see listed down below. And have you signed up to be a Ko-fi member yet? I bet the answer is no, and you should, because for as low as $5 a month, you could help sponsor this very program, this very channel, this very community, and get access to all kinds of behind-the-scenes material that is only exclusive to Ko-fi members. So if you can't get enough of the Tampaverse, if you can't get enough of St. Pete by Night, or if you're just looking for a way to give back for all the entertainment, go sign up for a Ko-fi membership. That's the most direct and best way to do so, and we really, really, really appreciate it. Now, let's get to the business at hand. Red Tide Rising by introducing the amazing players who make this story possible. Players, go ahead and introduce yourselves if you please.
Good evening, my name is Garrett, and tonight I play a thin blood named August, and I think their ears are ringing, but we'll see.
Howdy, howdy. My name is Ace. Jolene stole my man, and I play Beau Walker, a Toreador.
Hello, my name is Scott. I'll be playing Jeremiah the Malkavian, and as of this particular moment, he is calm and stable.
Hi, I'm Freya, and I play Valentina, and I am very far away from everybody. Oh no.
In the world of kindred, they say everything is immortal, but some things are very short-lived, as is Jeremiah's mood going to be. That being said, let's get everybody caught up as to where we are now. Last week, speaking of Jeremiah, he met some old friends of his from up in Atlanta, the Nomad Anarch Biker Pack, led by the Gangrel known as Skunk, and the groundwork started to get laid for potential situation solutions with the help of said Gangrel and their crew, including maybe getting rid of a certain Toreador sire and maybe creating an opportunity for an embrace for a certain ghoul. Oh, if only. After that, we saw August and Valentina meet with Solomon to talk about how their mission went and what the next steps are, and they were kind of given a little bit of helpful advice that this position of an envoy breeds certain opportunities and opportunities to meet and learn more about these certain influential individuals within the city, that it's not just simply drop off the package and leave. Try to dig for as much information as you possibly can. Then after the break, we saw Beau and Jeremiah go to meet with the Baron of Tarpon Springs, Sebastian de Leon. And while it was a very flirtatious and charged meeting, they seemed to get an understanding of each other as Jeremiah tried to lay the groundwork for a overall Anarch get-together, which Sebastian so graciously was willing to host within his humble abode. And then finally, Valentina and August decided to make a very, very curious decision in heading to the Hillsborough State Park, the territory of the Guru, and they did encounter some Guru by the names of Stakes Her Claim and Charles Albrecht, who said that they were not where they were supposed to be. Luckily, some very clever talk managed to spare both of their lives and allow August to escape unharmed, but Valentina was taken into custody, so to speak, as they had claimed that they were hoping to get better from the condition they were afflicted with, and the werewolves were more than willing to acquiesce to that request. And so she has been locked into a cement cell to let the blood run its course through her system so that she can be cured and released back into the world of humans where she belongs. That all being said, let's get to our first scene, which takes place very shortly after August has departed the park, as the Coterie, or what's left of it, has been called together to the bar to discuss this recent development. Night has fallen upon the city of Tampa and the Waiting Owl, as Jeremiah and Beau, you've been called with a very urgent request for you to come to the Waiting Owl because something has happened that you must be made aware of. August, you have returned to the bar and sent messages out to your fellow Coterie mates, as this development probably shouldn't be swept under the rug. It probably should be discussed as soon as possible. And so, as you all arrive, Beau and Jeremiah, this is the next night after your meeting with Sebastian. I'd like everyone to make their rouse check. August, you are okay for this one since it is the same day, but Jeremiah and Beau, I'd like you to make your rouse check for the day.
I have made my check and I did not get hungrier.
Awesome.
Made my check, and as per usual, hunger increased.
Fantastic. Especially after the day before. Anyway, let's get to it by saying that the scene is yours. As you arrive at the bar, you can see that the establishment is closed, which is kind of unusual for how early it is in the evening. But since Valentina didn't show up to open up the place, and Ricky won't do it in their stead unless told to, the bar is closed, even though it's only about like 8 or 9 o'clock at night.
So as you all enter, it is closed, as he said, and August is currently in a conversation with Ricky. He looks at them. As you enter the door, he looks over towards you two. He looks back to Ricky.
I'll be in the back.
Yeah. That's not gonna be enough for this one. Just go someplace for an hour or two.
Oh. Yeah, I guess there's nothing else to do. Well, let me know if you guys need anything.
Yeah, I will.
He heads out through the back to the parking lot around back.
So, how did your meeting go?
really well. I'm not liking the vibe here.
No, you're not going to, but business first, or else we'll accomplish nothing.
Where's
So-
Val?
We'll get to that. We met with Solomon, talked to them about our now what I know now to be our Giovanni mission over there at the funeral home. That was short-lived, nothing much to report there, but he did inform me of something else. A rising coterie in the Camarilla that is almost on the fence. He told us to make them uncertain.
Okay. I can definitely work with that.
Yes, I think we can. He made it seem important, not easy, but accomplishable, so. And
Any
also...
Yes.
Any
descriptions of this coterie?
Very little. We'll have to reach back out for more information than that, but we will have to be going deep into downtown to meet them. And as you know, or if you don't, that's Camarilla territory. It's where as far as I know, the seat of power for the tower is.
Oh yes, well aware. Definitely will need to do our research on that. Did he give a timeline about that?
Soon. But there's more pressing matters this week, so that'll probably have to wait till next. But preparations need to be made.
All right, I think you've buried the lead long enough.
I am, yes. We went to go see Solomon. Afterwards, Valentina had an idea. Now, it was my understanding that it would be best to wait for contacting anybody on that side of the fence.
The cam?
No, the wolves.
What? Hold on. Wait. What? I'm sorry. What? In what universe is that a good idea? Don't tell me you actually went.
Yes, I did. I went to make sure that they didn't die. And as far as I know, they won't let that happen. But they were going whether I stopped them or not.
Did you try?
Did I try? You think that would have made a difference? Yes, I told them it was a horrible idea.
So you know that wolves are like really territorial and don't like uninvited guests.
I'm not finished yet. He'll walk over and sit at one of the tables. And he'll motion for a seat in front of him.
Jeremiah will go over to the bar and sit at a stool. He wants to put some distance.
They insisted on going to the park. And something I haven't told you yet, but you could have guessed, is that we went in the day.
I figured as much, yes. Taking advantage of our vulnerability and inaccessibility to go behind our backs.
How long ago did this happen?
This morning. So, we went to the park. We brought some people with us under the guise, and we did clean it up. Didn't exactly need much of that. Traveled deeper in, and we met two of them.
Oh, so the worst possible fucking outcome. Thank you. Great.
Please tell me she's alive.
Yes. Yes. So, what I thought we were going to do was to push a bit harder. we understand that meeting is set up. And I said to them, with my own words, that we were not there to push that. What actually happened was Valentina professing that they don't exactly want to be what they are, and part of it, I know, was because they felt the danger afoot. But they acquiesced. They said that they would take her, and that they would protect those who she wished to protect. And in return, she would go with them and wean herself off. Now, they understand better than most what that means. But by this point, there was no other option. So they let me leave. They took Valentina somewhere, and he will reach inside his coat pocket and pull out a letter and put it on the table before him and sort of spin it underneath his hand. He'll push it to the opposite side of the table. Beau?
Beau will walk over to the table and pick it up, take it over to Jeremiah so they can read it together.
Oh, go ahead.
Jeremiah will briefly scan it.
Basically, just in case I get captured, here are some instructions to log into an air tag. Now, anybody who wants to roll me an intelligence and technology roll may do so.
I'll do it. I would
Yeah,
have done
Jeremiah's not in the mindset. So your intent was to go around the process. Your intent was to push the agenda that requires the one advantage that we have over these wolves, and that is patience and time. He's going to pick up one of like the beer steins on the bar, and like look like he's about to wind up and throw it directly at August, but then he just smashes it into his face.
As the glass shatters into many pieces as it collides with your skull, go ahead and take 1 point of superficial damage.
How am I not to take this as a betrayal? How am I not to take this as a contravention of everything I've been trying to build with this coterie? Everything that I've been trying to build with the movement in this city. We are at their fucking mercy, and you traipse into their territory like a pair of fucking morons. How can you be so smart and so stupid at the same time, August?
Let's make one thing clear. You're telling me you would have rathered me let them go by themselves. And I guarantee you, if they did, they would not be here right now. At all. In existence. They would be dead. That conversation was... We treaded lightly, and even then, we broke a few sticks, if you know what I mean. I went, because if I didn't, there would be no reporting right now. We would come into the bar, we would see it closed, and Valentina would be gone.
To his point, Jeremiah, it is a surprise that he's alive. It's a surprise that they made it out at all. The agreement that stands between you and the wolves is if you're found outside of Sulphur Springs, they have full rights to kill you, let alone to walk into their territory uninvited, as you said, and to still somehow escape unscathed is surprising. So either something went very, very right, or something went much worse than death.
Honestly, if they are that foolish and that, maybe it's better that she be dead. I don't have to suffer her anymore. And I find it very suspicious that you just walked out of there. What, did you cut another deal Another play for power for your own good? Is that how you're here?
Yes, that's exactly what I did. I did cut a deal. I cut a deal for the life of someone that, despite my best inclinations, I would consider a friend. And I would do the same for you. And I have done the same. And I will do again.
August, what did you get on that intelligence and technology roll? Okay. So, air tags are handy for sure if you lose your keys or if you're looking for your wallet, but they have certain limitations. Their range isn't great. They have to usually be within 30 feet of your phone, the phone that it's linked to have an accurate signal. Add on top of that any boundaries like heavy cement walls or steel or anything like that. It has to be within the range of another iPhone to have any kind of find my capabilities. Unless they are extremely stupid and let her keep her phone and kept her in a public place with a lot of people around, the AirTag is probably worthless. So this countermeasure probably isn't too helpful in this circumstance.
As to doing something productive, finding her is going to be much more difficult, even with this hint they've dropped. But there's something I need you to understand, both of you. Is there was some truth to what they said, even if this note is here now. They want out. One direction or the other. This?
And no patience. No,
No.
trust.
You knew
I
this
have an
about
option
them.
lined up for her, ready to go.
Yes?
Pretty much
What was
perfect
that?
for her.
What was that?
My buddy's from out of town. Older than me, stronger in the blood, willing to just turn her and then not lord it over her, skip out of town as soon as the business is done. Leave her to us to train, to bring up. The perfect scenario. But no, she can't wait a goddamn night.
Well, now they have a lot of time to wait, because until that meeting is scored, and I have a feeling that they're going to wait even longer now. At least until they succumb to the rapid age, or they do get clean. But they said they would release her, and I believe them, if at that time they still are of the same mind that they want to be released. But they wanted this. They knew the risks when they went out there, and I did too, and I still went. I
Fine.
meant what I said that night when we had the conversation. My loyalty is to the people in this coterie, no other machinations beyond it. I spin this web so that once something flies straight towards us, it hits it instead of us. You don't like it? Don't like it. I don't like it much either, but that's how it is.
I'm gonna have to eat this one, you know? I'm gonna have to take accountability for this. Might have to offer my own throat up.
Now, Jeremiah, to August's credit, you wouldn't have known what had happened to Valentina. She would have just been gone. And it could have led to a potential political issue, thinking that Athame may have taken her. And the fact that the wolves didn't kill them outright means that maybe they can be reasoned with. Maybe. But this is going to put you at a strong political disadvantage, as now they have, as if they didn't already, the upper hand even more so, and now leverage on you in the coterie that I don't think even the rats can get you out of at this point. Beau, what are you thinking right now? as the kind of bystander to all of this.
Their mind is on Valentina. What could possibly happen if this blood does wear off? She could die. There's the rapid aging. There's so many different possibilities, and Valentina is like a sister to her, and the thought of losing another family member is just eating away at their heart, and they're just silently stewing in this anger and sadness.
Well, you know that the last time she fed was a couple of weeks ago, and theoretically that should sustain her for a month before the symptoms of withdrawal start to kick in. The breaking of that quote-unquote bond starts to occur. So if anything, you have time, but also if their incentive is to get her clean, and that's what she claimed she wanted, then the likelihood of them meeting anytime within the next month is diminished pretty dramatically, because they clearly know this can be taken away. This can be worn off. How much more they know beyond that, you have no idea. But they offered the opportunity for her to be freed from that life as the only incentive for keeping her alive, and therefore letting August leave. So it's probably likely she won't be let go anytime soon.
If this is what she wants, fine. The profound lack of judgment this shows. Maybe it's best to just let her go.
You're smarter than that, Jeremiah. We both know they don't exactly know what they want. If they did, this wouldn't have happened. If they really wanted to be let go of their blood, could have done it here. Any number of places. They went because they wanted to see their options, and then they were forced into one. Now, wherever they sit, could have made up their mind. This is what they're going to do. This is what they want. But another thing that I know, that you know, is that Athame is not going to let this stand. Even if, for some reason, they can guarantee she won't die, and that they'll be let free, because that's what the wolves said they would do. She'll be there waiting outside the doorstep for her.
Why? Why? Why would I care at this point?
Why would you care? That's our sister. That's our friend.
Friend who stabbed us in the back. Friend who jeopardized our very fragile position here. So she could, what, see her options?
And you've never done that? You're not doing that right now? You didn't do that a few weeks ago? You're not infallible, and I don't think you are. So choose your words carefully, because what I said it again. I meant.
I am meaning every single word I'm saying right now.
Okay.
Jeremiah, make me a composure and resolve check. You're not the one who's getting into bed with an Elder Zemitzi. You're not the one who's breaking the just created treaty. In fact, there wouldn't be a treaty if it wasn't for you. So while this is big talk from August, he's been doing his own machinations that are far more threatening to you than anything you've done. If anything, you've created security for the Coterie, and they're just willy-nilly throwing it aside.
That would be one success.
Okay. So, you know how you wanted to throw the stein the first time but didn't? Well, this time you do. Go ahead and make me a dexterity and athletics versus dexterity and athletics from August as you pick up and throw another glass.
August will flinch, but he's gonna let it hit him.
Okay.
Could I bid rapid reflexes to try and step in the path of the stein?
Sure. Yeah, give me a dexterity and athletics with the bonus of your celerity.
I got 2 successes.
Okay. Okay, so in this case, Ty will go to the defender. So, Beau, as you quickly spring to your feet, breaking the path in between, you will deflect the glass. Not quite catch it, not quite do anything so fancy as that, but you will deflect the glass away, sending it over to the floor, shattering on the ground. Jeremiah, that voice, the voice that represents everything that you try to keep at bay, everything that you try to keep a hold on, flares up. Insolence. Ignorance. Of course, this would come from a thin blood. Of course, this would come from an offshoot of the Tremere. I will say you are suffering your compulsion now.
Okay.
The Malkavian compulsion. Rather than outright frenzy, which would just make this a whole heaping mess of trouble. I will say that you are going to take an aggravated willpower damage, and you are going to be suffering your compulsion.
Okay. That does basically mean that I'm at dice penalty for physical, social, or mental, equal to my bane severity. So whichever of those pools you think is the most appropriate.
I think in this case it would be social. You are not in a good headspace to be communicating with other people at this point, other than vitriolic and untamed aggression.
I don't know. No, I don't even think this is just because you're a thin blood, low rent warlock. I think it's something wrong with you, August. That makes you act so foolishly.
And what exactly did I do?
You failed to control the situation. You failed to control Valentina from doing something that is going to fuck us so thoroughly. There are
I failed.
times when we have to make the hard call. And the hard call in this situation was putting her little fifis in check and stopping this disaster from happening.
Beau will turn to August. How hard did you try to get her to not go? Was it just a no, don't go, or did you try to reason with her that this would be life at risk?
August, I think you did tell her it was a really bad idea, but was there really much resistance, or was there a little bit of curiosity to see what would happen? Because you were told there's a Firkus out in that park. Vesper told you that that's where it could be found. So maybe there was a little bit of incentive to let it happen, but you did say it was a very bad idea, a very stupid idea. So, you could go either way on this.
Valentina knew that they were risking their life. And even then, they asked me to go with them. They knew the risks, and I told them it was a bad idea. But I was not going to physically restrain them in any capacity. If they truly are trying to ascend or descend in either direction, it has to be their own choice. This was their own choice. I say we let them stew in it for a while until we figure out what we can actually do here. Unless you want to keep throwing things.
Now, Beau, to August's credit, he could have just let her go. There's been questions about whether he actually has any loyalty to anyone in this coterie or whether he's just in it for himself, and he put his head on the line to make sure she didn't go alone. And also, you guys have never been strict in regards to her status as a ghoul. You could have bonded her if you really wanted her to obey. You could have restrained her, subjugated her, but you guys have never been about that. You've given her the right to choose, the right to have an opinion. So, as much as you can blame August for this, maybe there's a little bit of blame to be cast on all of you. There's a reason ghouls are bound into servitude, so they can't go break the Masquerade, so that they can't make foolish decisions that get vampires killed. Maybe this is, no pun intended, the dog biting the hand that feeds it.
Oh, well, look up at the sky, or the ceiling, trying to blink back the tears. And then just start pacing circles around one of the tables.
I'll give you this, August. You're not wrong that she does need to sit and stew. I am not in the mood to make any heroic efforts to get her back right now. I have to make a call. He's going to text Skeeter.
Okay, what do you say?
It says, if you haven't heard by now, one of ours stuck their foot in it pretty hard with the wolves. I would like the opportunity to take accountability for this.
You see the bubbles come up of typing, then vanish, then come up again. The response you get is, I'm going to need more information than that. When can we meet?
August will interrupt as he sees him texting, because he doesn't exactly know who he's texting. But he says, Jeremiah, we made it very clear that we went there with no relation to the deals we had. Now, how they view that is up to them. But we didn't go there asking for any pushes on deals. We didn't go there asking for favor. We went there for Valentina specifically. Don't claim responsibility for something of that nature. Our deal still stands. Nothing was broken. There's nothing in the deal that says we couldn't go there. The only thing in the deal says that our lives are on the line if we do, and it was, and I'm here now. Don't go giving out debts. Take it from me. that you can't repay. And we both know what I mean by that.
I think we all know what you mean by that. They'll stop and turn to August. Their hands clutched into tight fists at their sides.
Oh, that voice that grew ever hungrier this evening, the one that was quiet for the shortest period of time. Now don't go being a hypocrite, Beau. We know the lengths you would go to for freedom.
They'll shake their head, mutter under their breath. Now's not the time.
I don't think they're going to see the nuance in this, August. I don't think whatever story you spun out of this is going to change this from what it was. An invasion of territory, unprompted. They very well may consider the deal broken. I have to get in front of this. If it means taking a risk, it means taking a risk. That's what people who are committed to this dream of a movement do. And that's what I am. And he'll go back to his phone and say, they went poking around where they shouldn't without my knowledge and are now their guest.
What you receive almost immediately is a multi-line fuck.
I thumbs up emoji that. I don't want anything. I don't want to push any agenda other than trying to make this right.
The response you get is, in getting them to agree, I said that my people and I would be responsible for what you did. Now I can possibly try and smooth this over with them, but it may mean giving her up for good. Is that what you want?
There's got to be consequences. And that's one I'm willing to accept.
I'll see what they say. If I can set up a meet, I will, but this is not good.
You're telling me.
I wasn't meaning for you.
I'll let it lie.
Well, Jeremiah's texting Skeeter. Beau will walk over to August and keep their voice low. What were you talking about when you mentioned something that Jeremiah did a few weeks ago?
We can have this conversation, but before I do with you, we have to have a very different type of conversation. Don't think haven't noticed a change in you. One day,
No,
The only thing you can think about is her. Simple text brings you across the city. And now you're not living in the bar anymore? Back with Solomon? Just like that? Think about who I am.
He offered me a deal that was hard to refuse. He offered
Who's
to
he?
be Solomon. He offered to be my manager in exchange for getting my family back.
And this has to do with Talia how?
Well, go ahead and make me a manipulation and subterfuge. August, make me a wit and insight. Could be as simple as that. Because
Could be.
maybe he bonded her. That would be a solution.
It would be a solution to what he's thinking, correct.
Could I offer persuasion because there is truth in what they are saying?
Yes, I will let that slide. Yeah.
Sorry, could you give me my roll one more time?
Wits and insight.
I'm gonna rouse for my measly 1 extra dice. I succeeded. I crit for a total of 5.
Okay. 3. She's not telling the whole truth. There's definitely details being obscured here. You are right to be suspicious.
As you say that, and there's a moment of silence between us, August gets that smile that you don't get when he knows something you don't, and he want to have this conversation. You understand what it means for the both of us. Remember the whole backstabbing moment we just had? You think the only thing that's going to be thrown is a bottle? He'll
I don't.
lean in and give you a hug. It's going to be okay. Very loudly so that Jeremiah can hear.
Beau will tense for a moment before reluctantly hugging back, patting him on the back, maybe just a touch too hard in their anger.
What does he know, Beau? What does he think he knows? And if he actually does know, what does that mean for you? Jeremiah has held nothing back about his feelings about Vesper, about his feelings about elders. Things were looking good for the two of you. The gun range with De Leon. Clearly, he was growing his trust for you. So what's the solution? Do you continue to hope August will keep his mouth shut? Do you bribe him? Or do you do what the werewolf should have done? So is a possibility they can't find out if there's no one to tell them.
So, and he'll lean back from Beau and look over to Jeremiah. We've said all we can say about this for now, at least all that'll be productive. What are we doing about Talia? You said you had feelers out? And he'll look back to Beau.
Yeah. My boys are in town. They're up for it.
I'm guessing they'd want to meet me and see what I know.
Yeah. I was gonna take you to meet them later tonight. Might have even brought in you, August, but I don't think I want to look at your face for much longer.
Feeling isn't mutual,
Great.
but it doesn't really matter. So, I'll begin working on our cam situation as much as I can without sticking my neck out.
Good.
I might need to wait a night or two for that meeting. I don't know if I can speak to other folk
You both have
calmly
time.
right now.
You're not wrong. I don't know if I'm at the top of my game right now. We can't wait too long, though. They are nomads. And if there's no action, they'll leave to go find it.
August will take out his phone while they're saying this and text Ricky to start heading back. And as he does, he'll say, "You know, you guys are cute. Really, I'm really seeing that there. Anyways, I'm gonna be outside. Yeah. Gotta open this place up. Business as usual." And he'll just leave.
August, as you head out, what's going through your mind after this whole encounter? There was a lot of blame cast your way. And whether or not it's deserved, it was a lot. I mean, this was Valentina's choice after all, and against type, you did put yourself in a strangely dangerous situation knowingly to look out for your coterie mate, which is definitely not how you do business. If someone's stupid, let them hang. What are you thinking after this?
What he thought beforehand was that if he played the card that he did, the benefits could be worth it. Standing here now, outside the bar, just out the door, he's unsure if it is, but there's still possibility. He stood before them, didn't die. He thinks that their tolerance is leaps and bounds above what they did have. The Coterie's connections are a lot more strenuous than he thought. And he thinks, all in all, he hopes that this time of strife will bring them closer together. He needs it to be, though. He's put all his cards on the same sort of spot, and if it fails, this is the most exposed he's ever been. He hadn't walked in the sun in years. He knew he had that strength. He knew he could have that enjoyment, and he stayed from it for a moment like this, and he questions whether it was worth it.
You can't help but think back to the conversation with Spud and how he said how dangerous it is to be a thin blood, that survival is the best course of action, keeping your head down, going unnoticed, not necessarily mixing it up with the full flavor kindred. Now the risk is becoming more apparent than ever as to how dangerous they actually are. Because yeah, you're good. But there's a reason thin bloods fear the full kindred, why they hide, why they avoid as best as possible. And right now, at least one of them, if not two, are very mad at you. Inside the bar, Beau and Jeremiah, it's just the two of you.
Jeremiah is going to go over to the supply closet, pull out a broom, and start cleaning up. Trying to get all of the shards of glass swept up into a pile. The blood just kind of tripping in and down his face, mostly getting caught in his shirt.
Would you like help taking care of
if we're gonna open up the bar, we need to get it presentable. We can go in the back once that's done.
Beau will go and grab the standing dustpan to assist with the sweeping.
Two of you clean up, prepare for the bar to open, for life to resume, so to speak. What's going through your minds? Beau, we'll start with you and then Jeremiah.
Their mind is on the potential loss of Valentina, how the last time they were as angry as they felt right now, they maimed and permanently disfigured their uncle. They lost their entire family because of that one moment of anger. And even though the other two said to let them stew, their mind is trying to figure out how to get her back, how to get her sister, her fellow, not full kindred, but her fellow Coterie member back.
How far are you willing to go? At least in this moment.
Beau would do just about anything to get her back. I don't think they'd be as stupid as to make another blood deal like they did with Vesper, or to go just directly into the werewolf's den. But they would try to find a way. Anything that they have in their power to get her back.
Your own existence is in your power. Is it worth that?
In this moment, to Beau, yeah. But who's to say that won't change?
Well, your beast certainly disagrees. Self-preservation is key. Right now, there are a lot of things threatening yourself. August's veiled threat, Valentina's disappearance and what that means for the treaty with the werewolves. Let's just hope you can keep it in its cage. Because if it takes control, it won't care what you feel. Jeremiah.
In his head, he's trying to rebuild the stratagem. The physical work of cleaning up is trying to assuage the disorder in his mind. Nothing's lining up. There's 6 different solutions that present themselves, but the shattered perspective of the curse of his clan, the sweetly disapproving voice of his mother, and the harsh, authoritative voice of his father that are the voices of his beast, bouncing off everything. It is a whirlwind in his mind. He's trying to pull it together, and it's not really coming together. Every moment he tries to form an ordered thought just seems to push things even further. He knows that making this right, that trying to scrabble back to where they were, which really wasn't anywhere, it could be the biggest risk he's ever taken in his life. And so yeah, the spiral is hard, and it's it's not great in there.
Just like those voices conflict, sometimes things like priorities and loyalty come into conflict. Right now, there's more threatened than just Valentina's life. There's the bonds of your coterie, which are fraying as we speak. There's what this means for the movement. This has been the best position you've had, not having werewolves clawing at your door, even though they're so close and so capable and clearly very in control of this city right now. There's Solomon, who has been, if nothing else, a good business partner to have. What's he going to think when he finds out this? And what part is he going to play in whatever decision is made? And would crossing that decision cause problems? There's the movement, and it's standing in the city, which when you arrived here was your first priority, the movement. But has that changed over the time that you've been here? Has that changed due to the connections you've made? Does the movement still come first? And what part does a ghoul play in that movement? Are they a sacrificial pawn that you're willing to get rid of just to make sure that the overall agenda continues forward? Step kind of grown attached to that pawn a little bit. They've meant something, so much so that you were willing to offer them the embrace they so desperately, supposedly, were seeking. And they turned you down because you're a friend. Conflict,
Yeah.
conflict.
Yeah, none of that's helping.
Never does. Speaking of Valentina, let's go check in with her. Valentina, it's been about 3 days at this point since you were brought into confinement by the werewolves. Now, nobody's come to interrogate you. Nobody's come to press upon you. And honestly, all things considered, while you are a prisoner in a very literal cell, they've fed you. They've made sure that you have access to the basic necessities. And this young woman with messily cropped dark black hair and dirty clothing has been pretty much your only point of contact. And any attempts to reach out to her, to speak to her, have gone with a grunt or a shrug as she would drop off a tray of food, almost as if she didn't want to. It was more of a pain in the butt to do than necessary, but she did it. So as this, the third day, arrives, you hear the squeaking turn of the wheel of your cell door opening, a very familiar sound at least twice a day when they would come to deliver your meal. After the clank of the lock being undone and the slow grinding of the heavy steel door being pulled open, the young woman enters again with a tray of food, as has been the habit. She moves over to the small table where the meals are served, sets down the tray, takes up the other tray of food. What has been Valentina's thought process these past 3 days as the time has just slowly ticked by in pretty much darkness for most of it?
Valentina has been very much in her head during the first night. The thoughts of, I think I definitely fucked up here. Fuck. Well, hey, I'm pretty sure August made it out alive. That's good at least, right? Look at the positives. It'll be okay. Just gotta keep it together. And then on the second night, she kind of had this thought of, God, it's been dark in here. I mean, comforting, but at points, maybe Athame's watching and is relishing in the fact that I'm isolated. God. Maybe she'll decide to do something silly and take me out of here somehow. Who knows? She's gotten stronger. I don't know the extents of the void and what she can do with that. And then on the beginning of today, very much. Man, I think if I see Jeremiah again, he's probably gonna kill me.
Well, there's also the doubt starting to creep in as well. It's been 3 days. They said August could leave the park. Did they say he could make it home? You don't know a lot about werewolves, but all the stories say that they're great hunters. Very fast, very strong. Who's to say they didn't catch up with him and destroy him before your message could be passed along, your hopes of a lifeline to let the rest of the Coterie know where you are? And then there's Athame. Why hasn't she come? Why hasn't she helped? Is she relishing? Maybe. Or maybe she's given up on you and tossed you aside. Maybe the Coterie has given up on you and tossed you aside. I mean, this was a very, very risky move that has not paid off so far. After all, this is the most difficult part to stomach. You are just a ghoul. And ghouls, in your experience, are disposable. That's their purpose. They're used until they're no longer of any use, and either they're embraced or they're rid of. No cravings have started to come yet. Having fed so recently, you're still pretty comfortable overall. But they're looming in the distance. They're going to be bad. You've gone without blood before, and it wasn't for very long because the need took over all thought and all reason. Have you been eating?
First night, first night, probably not. Just the anxiety of everything. But, and also the paranoia, now knowing that she is very far away from the limited safety of her home. Whether or not people will realize it or not, typically she sleeps during the day just because it feels safer for her. You know? And if she's in her abode at night, typically most of the lights are on. Just enough, just to make sure that any major shadows are semi-diffused.
It also helps to stay on the schedule of vampires, since that's the company you keep these nights.
Yeah.
But right now, the company you're keeping is werewolves. And while they haven't been necessarily unkind, they haven't been especially welcoming either. Except for tonight, it seems. Because as the young woman picks up your tray and puts down the new tray of food, he leaves another item as well. A camping lantern. The light turned on, radiating a dull, almost neon glow into the room. She sets it on the table And she looks to you. Nobody deserves to be treated like an animal if they're not one. I don't know anything about books or magazines or anything like that, but if you want something to read, I can bring it next time I come through.
I'd appreciate that.
Okay.
Also, thanks for the lantern this time.
Like I said, nobody should be treated like an animal.
So, if you don't mind me asking, you don't seem like a normal human, to be honest, besides the fact that you are a werewolf, you know, but just from the limited interactions that we've had, you don't hold yourself like fully as like growing up as a human.
Even though she does walk upright, she does know how to use opposable thumbs. There is something very feral in her posture, in her behavior. Barefoot in this concrete prison, and her clothes are dirty and worn. Her hair unkempt. Apparently, appearances don't matter to this particular individual. She considers your words for a moment before responding. I'm not a human, and I never have been.
Gotcha. Forgive me, I'm a little ignorant on, your side of the fence.
You should be. But this happened to you, not for you. All of it.
You're not wrong.
Including being a thrall.
Yeah. Do you want to know the reason why I came to seek you guys out more than just wanting to rid myself?
Is there more?
Yeah, my old Dominator, which is the vampire that turned me into this.
You want to harbor any goodwill, call them leeches. That's what we think of them as.
Okay. Well, the leech that turned me into this. I found out that she's been getting stronger, and even amongst their kind, she's cruel. Even more so than the average leech. She forced me to be really terrible to an old love of mine, just because I didn't do what she wanted quick enough. And anyway, getting away from her was an ordeal and a half, and I've been having this bad feeling that she's after me. Again, more so kind of building up to something, and I don't feel like I trust my friends to have my back. Or anyway, I trust them, but I don't know if they'd be able to actually deal with her.
Well, she'd be stupid to come here. Almost as stupid as you were to go to the park.
It's a lovely park, by the way. Good job on keeping it clean. There was very little for us to clean.
They're all cruel. They may act like they're not. They may think like they're not. They might treat you like they're not. But all leeches are cruel because they only want blood. That's all they care about. If they're making you think that they care about you, it's a trick. Because they don't care about anything anymore. You have to live to care. And they don't live. It's not natural.
What's your definition of living?
What's yours?
Having a goal and seeking it out by any means. Whether or not that's keeping a family safe or growing a business or keeping a place that you hold dear safe.
Plants seek out sunlight. That's their goal. But they do it to survive and live. What do the leeches do to survive and live?
They drink.
They prey upon the living. Just like leeches. And everything they do is to get more. To keep more.
Is that not what most people do? Most living things do?
Yeah, it's part of what's wrong with the world. Part of what we're trying to fix. When something dies, it should stay dead. That is the natural cycle.
I can see that, but how is their position not also in the cycle? I mean, otherwise, why would they be here?
You can see that she's conflicted about how to answer that question because while werewolves do have an answer, it sounds insane to try and relay it to anyone who's not in the know, who doesn't get the bigger picture of everything. There are things in this world that succeed off of the suffering of others.
Billionaires.
Yes, and many of them are vampires. There are also things in this world that just want to see it burn. Want to see it turn to ash and decay. I understand that humans believe themselves to be the apex predators, but you and I both know that's wrong.
Yeah.
But if it was natural, why does it have to hide? Why does it have to wear a face that looks like everyone else? Why does it have to trick and deceive? And why, if it's so natural, does it torture and hurt people like you.
Couldn't tell you that one. I mean, why do sociopaths exist? Why do leeches exist? I mean, no, I'm not talking about leeches. I'm talking about like the little squishy guys.
I know what you mean.
You know? I mean, there's a point in every food system, right? Every circle of life. And I definitely don't agree with a lot of the things they do. But
They could make you agree.
oh yes, they definitely can. I have experienced plenty of that. But even then, I don't know. It's only temporary.
Why do you want to be one of them?
I
Charles
don't.
might not care enough to press you, but since we're talking, you wouldn't have brought one of them with you if you were running away from it.
He's a friend, and he got me out of a really shitty situation. He's actually the reason why I'm even alive today. Probably.
You might
Who
think
knows?
of him as a friend. He views you as an asset.
I don't know about that.
I do.
How would you know if you haven't talked to him, experienced a conversation, sitting down, walking around in the daylight? And I don't mean to be pushing against your thought or how you feel about this. It's just experience, you know, when you talk to somebody and they show genuine interest. Even if it seems like they're faking it, they will then bring it up later on in the conversation, just as a reminder that they were listening. And Athame, the old bitch, quite frankly, um, that's not offensive, right? Oh, goodness. Okay, cool. Woo! Awesome. Just needed to make sure. She never did. She never brought up things that were worrying me, even after the small bits that I was able to tell. But they do. It's one of the reasons why I fought so hard to make sure that he could leave. And I really hope that you guys didn't just give him a head start. I don't know if you did, but like, I hope he's alive.
He cared so much about you. Why did he?
Because I told
See,
him
when
to.
our kind get taken, we will fight to the death to protect them. Why didn't he? Why didn't he offer himself up so you could leave? He just let you go. And is probably laughing at you for it.
I don't think he'd laugh at me for that. If anything, he'd probably.
How
be
do you
saying,
know that's not his influence on your mind? How do you know you haven't been led to believe that? How do you know it's not the blood telling you that?
Because I never fed from him. I never ingested him. I never. That, and not all of them can do the same thing. Not all of them control minds. Some of them can. Others are able to control shadows. And oh my goodness, that's some horrifying shit. And that's something Athame can do. And that is so scary. Have you ever seen tendrils hold somebody in place? Just inky black shadows hold somebody? Have you ever felt that? It's
What do you
bad.
think?
I don't know you, and I don't know your history. That's why I'm asking.
How is any of that natural? How should any of that exist in this world?
How do you exist in this world?
To fight that,
Which came first, you or them?
I don't know. But
To
what I
answer your-
do know is we kept you alive. Would they have done the same if the roles were reversed? Or would they have just used you for a meal?
If we're talking about the specific people and the specific leeches I was close to. Sorry. I know that they don't ever want to kill anybody. And that is just from them speaking to me and talking to me and seeing their actions. I know they don't want to do that.
Have they?
I couldn't tell you.
Roll me a manipulation and subterfuge. That is a huge lie.
Yeah.
You just had to deal with a dead body.
Absolutely. Sorry, 1 second. Oh, goodness. Just to clarify something, in order to add extra dice, what would I have to do?
Nothing. You're not a vampire.
You're right, I can't. All right. You said manipulation and
Subterfuge.
Gotcha. Alrighty, that's 2 dice. We're gonna hope for the best. That is a 7 and a 9, so 2 successes.
She just stares with the same blank look she's held this entire time. How recently?
How recently? Unfortunately, too recently. And it was ripping them up. Honestly, I think they were more upset about it than I was.
I'm sure that's plenty of consolation to that person's family. Their parents, their kids, their siblings. I'm sure they're happy with the fact that your so-called friend is guilty over the matter. Did they even tell them?
The family?
Did they take any kind of accountability or make it right?
I don't know. I'm not gonna lie, I had other matters going on, such as trying to figure out whether or not I was gonna be kidnapped from my own home. But to answer your question, the primary reason why I would ever want to become one is so I'd be able to kill one and have an easier time about it. I want Athame gone so desperately. Just to save not only my own sanity and to end the paranoia, but to make sure that my abuela's safe, make sure the people that are regulars at my bar are safe.
How desperately?
I came to you guys. I put myself at risk. I even asked one of somebody I consider to be very close to come with me, who I know would also be put at risk. That's the only reason why he came, was because I asked. Because I was scared to go alone.
But you didn't want to be this anymore. So really, you were just leading him to his death. And if you're that desperate, I could just kill you right now. Then she'd have nothing to go after.
No, then she would just go after my abuela.
Why?
And the rest of my family. Because if she doesn't have the toy to claw and play with, she finds another, and she really likes to find ones that she's able to truly hurt. And she knows too much about me. And that would rip my abuela apart. She wouldn't even have to physically hurt her. Just telling her what she forced me to do, what she did to me.
Then why hasn't she done it already? This is the problem with leeches and those who involve themselves with leeches. They think they're so important in the grand scheme of things. They're not. They're just another spoke in the wheel. If she's as bad as you say, she'd do it to hurt you. If there's nothing to hurt, what's the point?
For her, it's fun.
Then would escaping this life have even mattered? Or was that another lie?
No, it would matter.
But she'd just keep coming for you, and she'd have forever to do it.
But then I'd at least be able to die as a human.
She let you.
Not wrong. But I'd certainly try to give one hell of a fight.
I think you don't know what you want. I think your drive for revenge has made you say whatever you need to say to keep that hope of revenge alive. And I think you're going to have to choose whether you really want to get better or you want your revenge. Because you can't have both. Just think on that. I don't need an answer. I'm not in charge here. But they're going to want to know. And if you don't care enough about getting better, they'll make sure that you don't. Because you are a threat to both of our worlds now. And one thing I know about both of our worlds, one of the only things we have in common is secrecy. and not being found out. And we do whatever we have to make sure it stays that way. Even if it means doing something that makes us seem like monsters. I'll bring back a book for you. I don't know if it'll be any good. I can't read. She walks to the door, and you hear the loud grinding of metal, and then the turning of the wheel as it shuts. What's going through your mind now?
Ooh, she's in deep shit. So she keeps hearing the same thought of, you have to choose. Which one do you want? And every time it's just, she just wants to be free.
It's a beautiful thing about the darkness. In darkness, true darkness, there are no shadows. But with a lantern, now there are. And as I say that, the room grows cold. And one of the shadows starts to stretch, taking a very feminine form.
Stakes? Stakes?
Is this better, my dear? Is this what you wanted?
No, why the fuck are you, how the hell did, no, there's no fucking way you're here right now. What the, no.
You said it yourself. I control shadows. And I'm a real bitch.
Fuck. Stakes!
We can't hear you. Another gift I picked up recently.
Fuck. And she grabs the lantern.
Worry, my dear. I'm gonna let you stew in this decision for a bit. I'm gonna let you recognize just how good you had it. I'm gonna make you both.
Fuck you. I'll see you in hell, you bitch. Fuck it, just leave me alone.
Maybe I will pay Abuela a visit.
If you
Just
fucking
so
hurt
you
her.
know that I did.
If you fucking hurt her. And Valentina just starts to like grab a hold of their arms and dig into their arms, and you can see as blood starts to come through as she's ripping into her own flesh, just so viscerally angry.
I'll see you again soon. I'll make sure she knows you said hello.
I'm gonna fucking kill you.
And with that, the shadow shrinks down into the natural cast of the lantern. And this is where we go to break. We'll be back in just a few minutes with the second half of tonight's story. It's been about 3 days since you found out the news about Valentina. 3 very long nights. For one of you, missing your friend. For the other, trying to figure out what you are going to do. But even for the immortal, the world keeps turning. The clock keeps ticking. While it means less the older and older you get, you have more problems on your plate than just the werewolves. You have more problems on your plate than the missing Valentina. Talia is still out there. Athame is still out there. The Camarilla is still out there. So, since it is a new night, I need everybody to make a rouse check.
I have done so and did not get hungrier.
Okay.
Surprisingly, same here.
Now you are going into public. Do you wish to blush?
I
Even
have
though it
done
is
so.
a meeting with the Gangrel, you're still potentially going to be seen by other people.
I have done so and also did not get hungrier. Everything's coming up Jeremiah.
Same here.
Dice-wise, at least.
Now, would either of you want to hunt before meeting?
Yeah. Definitely after that bad night, Jeremiah would go out, and I got 3 successes on that.
Okay, then you're fine. You're able to find a participant and feed back down to 1. Beau, how about you?
Given their last hunting disaster, I think they're a little hesitant to hunt. So no hunting for Beau.
What's your hunger at currently? 2. Okay. The beast doesn't like it. They're always willing to go for a hunt, but you are still enough in control that you can put a lid on that for the time being. So you arrive at the same roadside bar that the previous meeting had been. You see a line of motorcycles right out front. And as you enter in, the halogen signs of the various beer manufacturers that are served here, as well as the establishment itself, glow on the outside. And on the inside, you hear loud music, raucous laughter. The gang is having a good night so far. When you walk in, you see a few of the members playing pool, others chatting it up over by the jukebox, punching in a variety of songs. And then there's Skunk, the leader. And Beau, this is probably one of the first times you've been around this many kindred in this concentrated an area that were anarch-leaning, especially. And you wouldn't normally go to an establishment like this, effectively a biker bar. It's a little, strangely enough, even beneath you. Being the country western styling. But you know you're here for business, you're here for Jeremiah, and you're gonna try your best to not let thoughts of Valentina and her potential fate enter into your mind. As you finally enter in the main area, Skunk raises a hand, and once again, he's a large, muscular man with a very big, bushy beard and long, dark hair with a stripe of white or perhaps gray going down the center of both the beard and his mane. And upon seeing, Beau, that you've brought your families with you, you can see he gets a grin on his face and he starts giving off these growls and almost like muttering barks. And in response, your dog does the same. Like they're communicating. As you approach and grow closer, Skunk looks up and says, That's a good one you got right there.
Thank you. She's been in my family for a bit, and when I couldn't see my family anymore, I took her with me, and they'll lean down and scritch between Winona's ears.
Skunk looks to you, Jeremiah, and says, "So this is the arm candy with the mom issues?"
That's one way to put it, man. He'll like clap him on the shoulder and says, yeah, Skunk, this is Beau. Beau, this is Skunk.
I'm kidding. Have a seat.
They'll look utterly bewildered at that description for a moment, and then just, yeah, not wrong, and take a seat.
Yeah, I'll leave it to you, Beau, as to whether or not that's how I actually described it. But yeah, no, this is Beau. She's been a part of the movement for a couple years now, and yeah, she's got one hell of a hanger-on, as it were.
They often refuse to let go. Why I love being a gangrel. Bite them and ditch them. That's their philosophy, at least for the first year. So, Beau, why don't you fill me in on this hanger-on of yours? I got a little bit from Jeremiah, but it's always better to hear from the disgruntled daughter herself.
Talia Saphira. She's always been a shadow, looming even before embracing me fully. Typical Toreador. Sorry, a little bit out of my element.
It's all right, take your time. Got all of it.
I have found out recently she might be gunning for Primogen. And with that getting closer to, I'd assume the prince, at least has been making visits to Elysium.
Well, with a pretentious name like that, I can't say I'm all that surprised. You just gotta have a title to attach to all the whoop-de-doo of it. All right. Do you know what she can do?
I know she's able to dominate, get into minds. She's called me through it a few times.
Okay, so mental manipulation, got it.
There's been a few times even where feels like she knows what I did before I even told her.
That's about par for the course with those types. Lots of mind fuckery. Cowardly, if you ask me. I prefer a good old scrap.
On that, we
No
can't.
offense, Jeremiah, of course. What your lot does is completely out of my area of expertise.
I use my mindfuck powers for good.
Ain't that the truth?
And then, of course, there's her beauty, her charm.
Funny
Man,
how
she's
that stuff
beautiful.
still affects us. I mean, you ain't seen the light of day in the longest of times.
Yeah.
All right.
Still.
So, Jeremiah was saying that she was out on the islands near downtown, Davis Islands.
That is correct.
So how do you want to do this? What are you hoping to achieve by this? Are you looking to level up? Are you looking to just see her put down?
They'll lick their fangs at the thought of leveling up specifically through her. That first option, that That sounds real appetizing.
Always
had a blood
does.
I've had a blood before, but never enough to kill her.
Well,
So
I'm gonna
what-
warn you, kid, it's a slippery slope once you start down that way. It sounds good on paper, but you lose a part of yourself every time you do it. And a sire, that's a big heaping part of yourself you're getting rid of as it is, just by killing them. But to consume them, now you're talking real dangerous business.
Yeah. Beau, I'm going to tell you a story real quick. He looks to Skunk like, remember Big Mike?
Sure do.
All right, so Big Mike used to be up in Atlanta. Well, he still is up in Atlanta. Bruja. Solid guy. Like, you know, he would take out pimps and help you know, the sex workers either find a better life or, you know, keep doing the work, but in a much better way. Now, he had a hate on for his sire. When the clan left the Camarilla, this son of a bitch stayed. So yeah, I was there in Atlanta for a couple of months, rolled with Big Mike, good dude. I had to go up to North Carolina, take care of some business. By the time I rolled back, well, Big Mike had gotten what he wanted. And he wasn't him anymore. He wasn't taking out pimps, he was one. And he didn't give a shit about anything. I really gotta caution you against that. That's a one-way ticket to the beast.
So too, some of the older ones can just take the wheel if they have the strength to do so. Just something to consider. I'm not going to judge you either way. Issues are issues, and sometimes you really got to get them in your gut to feel better about it. But, like my boy Jeremiah says, it's a slippery slope. And if you like clinging to what you were to make it all make sense, that's a risk you're taking. Big risk.
Now, taking her head off, staking her, leaving for the sun, these are all beautiful options.
Hell of a lot easier, too. I mean, we could just throw a few Molotovs in her window and call it a day.
You gotta confirm the kill, man.
Oh, of course. I know you didn't bring me down here for laziness, but I'm just saying it's faster if we're just looking to take them out than it is if we're looking to save time for you to have a snack while security's going off, alarms are going off, who knows what.
I could try to get her away from her home. No idea if she'll go for it, but
I was thinking along those lines. Davis Islands is, you know, a stronghold of the rich and shitty.
True enough.
But if we can get her out, maybe even out of Cam territory.
Could be, but I'm also not new to the murdering vampire business. I'm gonna tell you, you said she could be in your head. We don't know what she knows. We don't even know if she's still in there.
well, I haven't heard her in about 3-4 weeks. And that was about the last time I talked to her. No. It's been about 4 or 5 weeks since I last talked to her.
Shit, it's been forever since I've been counting in weeks.
Well, when you got
South
a
of
year
the city.
to break, you do what you can. Sometimes that's counting the weeks.
So you think you could get her out of there?
I think I could.
All right.
Any of your boys have it within them to maybe send a rat or a crow or something to check out the haven?
Sure. We could have that whole island scouted out and mapped out if you wanted. It'll take some time. And if you got the time, then we can do this real efficient like. But if you need it quick and dirty, the risk goes up.
How much time?
Again, that depends on what you want. If you want a real good, detailed plan, I'd say 3 or 4 weeks. Good enough time to not be noticing a bunch of vermin running around the neighborhood. If you say it's as rich and hoity-toity as you seem, we're gonna need to probably get some more better animals that'll blend in to those circumstances.
Cats? I don't know.
Maybe, but strays. Again, it's an island, so we're looking at maybe birds, probably.
Birds, yeah.
That would have been my next bet.
One thing I'll say about the pigeons, even though they're the rodents of the sky, they can get anywhere and nobody blinks an eye at it.
Why don't we focus on the haven? You know where it is, right, Beau?
Yeah, I can send you the address.
That would help. Don't need to be gunning for the wrong house just because it looks hoity-toity.
Yeah, let's focus on the haven first. See if she's even there. In the meantime, we can work up a plan to draw her out. Now, you said she wants you. She wants you as your, plaything, daughter on the arm kind of thing.
I am her possession, and she will always see me as that.
I mean, there is something to be said for hot texts. Now,
Both all right? You seem distracted.
I'm sorry, one more
I
time?
said you both all right? You seem distracted.
I'm just running the gears, man. On my end of things, I can probably cause some distractions with the police. I've got some sway in that department. Make sure wherever it goes down, we won't have the boys in blue.
That would be helpful. Not that I think Florida has the best response time, but when you get richer, the response time gets shorter. All right. Well, we'll get to it. We'll start sketching it out, scouting it out, and we'll try not to make it a rush job. It's nobody wants to screw up in this circumstance and bring the whole weight of the tower, such as it is, down upon us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We can always
What do you
leave.
say?
You're choosing to stay here.
What do we say about meeting back up in 3 weeks, seeing how things are going?
Sounds good to me.
Don't forget, that offer still stands if you need some material support.
Absolutely. Appreciate it. But we'll see what we can find. We'll go from there. Well, you feel like hanging out for a bit? You just been having a good old time?
I need to get my head off of some things, and you know how I like having a good time.
Absolutely, cut loose.
And, I think I'm kind of your ride. We'll glance over to Jeremiah.
You know, I can get a car if I need to.
Skunk looks over at Jeremiah and waggles his eyebrows a few times.
Ask me no questions and I'll tell you no lies.
Done and done. So as you set about trying to unwind as best as possible, even though for the last 3 days both of you have been as tightly wound as possible considering everything that's happened, how are you feeling about the whole Talia situation, and how does that impact how you're feeling about Valentina's situation, the werewolf situation, the Camarilla situation? Beau, we'll start with you, and then Jeremiah.
Beau is feeling a little more confident as they sit there showing off some of the tricks that they've taught Winona over the years. The thought of being the one to end her, of eating her, growing stronger that way, and if done in enough time, using that new power to help Valentina. They smile genuinely for the first time in a few days.
Jeremiah.
Jeremiah is doing his best to keep the Valentina thing off of his mind. He doesn't like the thoughts that come when he thinks about that. He still does think of her as a friend, even though he's really, really mad at her. So he's thrown himself into the Cam situation, and the Talia of it all has been a focal point of that. This is a concrete strike that we can make. If she's gunning for Primogen, that means that she is a part of the machine. And if we can knock a gear out, then that's just one step forward for the movement. As far as the wolves are concerned, he is building arguments in his head, trying to construct some kind of case that he can present to salvage the situation. He's cursing his own ignorance of the occult and his own stubbornness at not asking August about it.
Definitely might require a little bit more research before going into a situation like that, because you knew enough to know they're territorial, but how far that extends, what that truly means, how they might react to certain arguments. You're not a guy who likes to go into things unprepared. Being a political analyst, being a campaign manager at times when you've needed to be, you've always had to think strategy. You've always had to cover as many bases as you possibly can. But the truth of the matter is, the agreement was pretty clear. They catch you outside, they get you. But is there something that they could want more than that? Is there something that's worth overlooking such a blatant disregard for the rules?
While he's here, actually, is there anyone of the gang that is known to be knowledgeable or have contact with the Lupines?
I would say if you ask Skunk, he would say contact is a loose term for it, but they have associated with them in the past, cross paths, if you will. Hey, squirrel! Yeah. He calls over. And then one of the smaller looking members, one of the less imposing looking members who's over by the jukebox, perks up and looks over. Yes, Skunk. Come here. Jeremiah wants to talk to you. You got it. He starts scampering his way through the crowd, very nimble-footed. And in fact, as you look at him, you can see that his eyes currently are bearing a almost feral, animalistic look to them. And he perches up on the booth seat next to Skunk. What can I do for you?
Can I pick your brain about the lupines?
He looks to Skunk, and Skunk just gives him a nod. Sure. What do you want to know?
We're kind of in it with them, and I'm gonna have to eat some crow. Not literally, but I gotta make some kind of case that I don't even know what we can do. I need to know more about them. Like how do they think? What do they value? I know they're like eco nuts, but
There's a little bit of that, to be sure. I mean, they're not that different than we are, which is, a lot to say and hard to stomach at times, but in truth, they were people once too. At least a lot of them were. So they have individual needs and desires, but if you were to say for the whole of them, I would say they love territory, obviously. The more they claim, the more they can preserve and the more they can protect, so to speak. They definitely love taking the opposition down. Anyone that could be considered harmful to the environment or harmful to the area. And they hate us. They hate us so bad. So the fact that they're even willing to talk to you is not something to turn down too easily, because if they really thought you were any kind of threat, they'd just take you out. But I guess if you're looking to get on their good side, offer them something better. Offer them someone bigger, someone more threatening.
Well, we got plenty of those.
Question is, are they going to find out you did it?
I mean, look, I try and be a straight shooter, If there are areas where our interests overlap, then I'm not going to try and, bullshit them. Try not to bullshit anyone. Except if it's a Camarilla guy, then yes, pure bullshit.
Don't mind me asking, what'd you get in with them for? What happened?
I'll look over to Skunk and I'll say, that ghoul I was telling you about?
Yeah, the one you wanted us to turn?
Yeah, she put her fucking foot in it. She went and tried to, I don't even know what she was doing. She went to their she went to their turf.
Okay, yeah, doesn't have the survival instincts of a gangrel. She's not becoming one of us, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, we can take that off the table, I think.
Now, stupid enough to walk into werewolf territory? You're lucky she's still alive. If she is.
They took her.
Oh boy, how much does she know?
Probably too much.
That's no good.
Yeah.
That makes her valuable to them.
But yeah, that's it has to threaten what we've already established with them. I haven't even talked to one of them yet. It was I've been talking to this I think he's a rat.
We talk to rats. What are you talking about?
One of them, but a rat.
Are you pulling my leg right now?
No bullshit.
You can do that? All right. Well, you got an intermediary. That's good. So if shit goes south, you could just let them fry for it, I guess. Oh boy. Do you need her back? Because that's going to be the easiest thing, is just sacrifice it and try to make amends in another way. I mean, gotta be honest, kid. Is this one you even want among our kind now, considering how stupid that was? Not a lot of, grown vampires are going to want a kid like that they can't keep on the leash.
I've had all those thoughts, but I'm going to ask that we not explore that in this particular moment.
Okay. I think it's something you got to think about.
Trust
honestly.
me, I've been thinking about it. I've been thinking about it.
Because trying to get it back is probably going to be costly. Very costly. And they'll be able to hold it over your heads for as long as they're alive, at least.
Yeah. Yeah, I know.
Well, Squirrel says, you could... I guess if you're trying to get her back, oh boy. Had you had an agreement with them?
Yeah. Little portion of the city where if we stick to it, they won't come looking for us.
God, I mean, I think the best you can hope for this is that they keep that agreement going at the moment. Because if you violated it, I don't see why they wouldn't come rolling up on you.
Well, they haven't, so there's hope.
It's true, I've never taken the lupines for being patient, but they probably think there's something else they can get out of it then, if they're holding on to her. So, I guess the question is, what are you willing to give? And if not what, who?
Well, we have a long-ass list. Camarilla motherfuckers.
Sure, you could try to get them to do your dirty work for you, but they can sniff out intentions. And if they think you're just offering up something that's going to help you, they might want more than that. I mean, a dead vampire to them is as good as anything, but all you're doing is telling them what they already know, what they already want. It's got to be something that feels like a sacrifice to you. Some sacrifices are very risky because, yeah, they're on the supernatural side of things, but they're not us. They're not in our group, and therefore how much you share with them might be looked down upon by some of the others.
Yeah.
So I'd just say, do you want to exchange one enemy for another? Or do you want to... it just really depends on what you want. At the end, what are you hoping to achieve? Because, as they say, you can't have it all. As much as we try, and as much as the elders would tell us they can.
Well, every time they open their mouths, they lie, so...
Yeah.
I hear what you're saying, man. I hear what you're saying. It's going to be rough, one way or the other, but...
Well, you're good at reading people. I know this about you. So if you can get in the room with any of them, just do what you do. Just remember that, they can get big, hairy, and claw and fangy, but that's the only thing that really separates them from humans. Just like, being dead and our dietary choices are what separate us.
Well, if you never see me again...
Well, I guess this will have been the easiest job I ever had to do. It was literally just a ride south to turn around and go back north, because if I don't see you again, I ain't sticking around.
I hear you. I hear you. Thanks for what you told me. I mean, it'll be one hell of a conversation if it even happens.
Well, if you need backup, then I'm not volunteering this loosely, but if you need it, I know that our family has had better relations with them than most. So, sounds like you got an intermediary already with the rats, but maybe something better than that could sweeten the deal a little bit. Don't go sacrificing me to them.
Oh, no, dude. I'm hesitant to even ask to make that ask. I wouldn't.
I'm hesitant to make that offer, but I'm doing so because we've known each other a long time, and I know it would pain you to do it.
Yeah. I'll think on it. When I hear back from them, I might give you a call.
Well, we're staying up to the north here. Don't want to get too close until it's absolutely go time. So
Yeah.
just reach out. We'll figure it out from there.
Sounds good.
Eventually, the evening starts to wrap up, and as it's still a raucous and fun affair, exchanging stories, watching some of the Gangrel scrap amongst each other in the center of the room after pushing some of the tables back. Eventually time to go home. Eventually time to find your day's sleep. More than anything, it's time to let the thoughts back in. Those stressful, frustrated, agonizing thoughts. What the fuck are you going to do if you can even do anything? Just as a grasp for power might seem appealing to Beau, in our final scene of the evening, August makes a grasp of his own. August. It's been a few days, about 4 at this point, since you made your way out of the park, leaving Valentina to face whatever consequences lie for going into the Guru's territory, for being caught outside of your safe area, so to speak. You caught a lot of flack for it, a lot of blame. And sure, you could see past it to just the fear and anxiety and stress of the situation. But that's not entirely your style either. They made an affront to you, blamed you for a ghoul's foolish actions when all you were trying to do was help, to look out for her. If there's one thing that can be said for vampires, it's that they have very long memories. And they are very unlikely to forgive, and even more unlikely to forget. Which puts you in a very vulnerable position, because if they're going to hold this grudge for a while, you're going to need eyes on the back of your head. Because who knows who they blame for this truly? Who knows who they're going to take it out on? They've always, as far as you've seen, let emotion be a guiding force. Whereas you've been very logical in your approaches most of the time. It's the Tremere way, even though you wouldn't happily call yourself a Tremere. Not because of what they did to you, not because of that history, but we're not getting into that now. You need protection. Whether that's in the form of power, allies, or just knowledge. You always have to look out for yourself, because looking out for others hasn't paid off very well so far. If anything, it's just made things harder. Kind of like you knew it would. So as you stand at the base of the stairs leading up to Evanesce, the tattoo parlor in Ybor City, the domain of the one known as Vesper, what are you thinking about? What brings you here, and what are you hoping to walk away with from this interaction?
He comes with the demeanor and the fixed mindset he created on the drive over of a humble servant. I've made a deal. I've come to make good on it. To stay interesting, to be made use of, like he has in the past, but much like the deal he made with Solomon under new pretense. For it was life or death, but that secondary deal he made, he could have walked away from, but he chose to stay. And that's what he's doing here. He's choosing to stay. To show Vesper that running is not an option, not because it literally isn't an option, but it's one that I won't choose, now or in the future.
Whether it comes from stubbornness or ego, arrogance, or just tactics. Roll me an intelligence and occult. I'll also offer up politics as a possibility as well.
I think I'll take a cult.
That's fair.
Only 4 for that one.
4 will do it. You've been studying the vampire condition for a while. Been studying kindred culture a little bit, but mostly what makes kindred what they are. Because being in thin blood, not being completely baked, as it were, in the vampire oven, you've needed to find any advantage you could get in this world so that you could exploit it and use it. Because the society, the culture has said you shouldn't exist. The society has told you that you are lesser than. And with the idea of encountering an elder Tzimisce, that has become a bit of your study, a bit of a focus. But if there's one thing Tzimisce love, it's the idea of ownership, command. They love a humble servant filled with humility. As long as they think they're in charge, they should be satisfied. Should be. But Vesper is definitely not what you'd expect. Sure, the body modification, it's easy to write that all off, but for one as old as him, he is staying pretty tuned in to modern things, which elder vampires don't tend to do. Elder kindred do not care about what's happening in the real world. They lose interest, they drift. So why Vesper is choosing to stay in the know, choosing to continue to care to blend in, that's curious. But they're going to have their nature. And their nature is to feel on top of the world. As you mount the stairs, approaching the door, pulling it open and stepping inside, the gong rings out, ominously echoing through the tattoo parlor. And Vesper emerges from the back room. August. Good evening. What can I do for you?
Oh, so much. We both know this. But first, I've come with an offering and to report, you could say, on the tasks you've given me
See,
and the favor you provided me. And he'll pull out the card that was given to him. It says Spud on it.
you found it useful?
Most useful, yes.
Good. Well, report.
First a gift, and he'll produce the first file he made and hand it to him, if he'll take it.
He does. He studies it curiously. Good to see you are learning some of what you can do. Sets it on the
pleases you.
counter.
If it pleases you, you can keep that one.
I would like to keep it, if nothing else, to see if I can unlock its secrets.
Now that would be interesting, wouldn't it be?
I've always been hungry for knowledge. All right. You have piqued my curiosity and interest, and I think it is a suitable offering for now. Of course, I would be most interested to see what else you learn on your journey.
Of course. And he'll motion towards the back area. Shall we sit?
Let's. He walks through the back curtain, leading you into the back hallway where there's a few doors, including a couple that lead to the bathroom, and then the staircase leading down to the shipping dock. He instead goes left, heading towards the office or the private suite, where sits an armchair with straps, shackles on it, straps to hold the chest down. It almost looks like a torture seat, but still suitable for modification. But instead of offering the chair to you, he gestures over to a rolling stool on casters as he hops into the chair, crossing his legs and steepling his fingers in front of him.
He'll move to sit where he was told. Interesting. You wouldn't have made use of that recently, would you?
Wouldn't you like to know? I make use of it quite often.
Good. Good for business, I assume. And other things.
For those of weak constitution, I like to make sure the canvas stays still.
Well, recently, as it pertains to the hotspot, as I'll describe it, went to do what I could, which is very little, but visit was paid. A payment was given, of course.
And how did you find the occupants?
Territorial, to be expected. But I'm still here. And they could have
Surprisingly
easily...
so.
Yeah. Yes, Jeremiah thought the same. So
I
did
won't
Beau, though
lie,
they
I
did.
underestimated you. A mistake I won't make twice. Please continue.
So, yes, we had a conversation, short-lived. Valentina now resides with them in whatever capacity that means. I'm quite sure she's still alive, for now.
Interesting. I would
What?
not have taken them for the forgiving type.
Neither would I, but in these recent nights, they want something. They want something more than they want this coterie and Sulphur Springs gone. As they would say, liberated.
From one monstrous master to another.
I have a feeling that they didn't trade, but they just added.
All right. Well, that does put a bit of a wrinkle in things because she knows a great deal. She has been here, she has seen my operations, and she knows who I am. A small pittance, something that can be easily remedied, but do you think this poses a problem?
I think it poses a more immediate problem for those close to her. We should just say me in some capacity. But Jeremiah, he's an eye for the politics, more than I do. By how much is remained to be seen, of course, but deal was made, as I stated, for blindness to a certain area, so long as it's quiet. That is to say, Sulphur Springs. And while I'm of the opinion this jeopardizes absolutely nothing, but I don't know the exact wording of the deal, so I have limited knowledge there. But he's scrambling to fix something that might not be broken. Though, of course, they're as unpredictable as anything.
Well, young kindred always find themselves clinging to humanity, a foolish exercise, for we are not human. This misguided sense of loyalty, affection, devotion. It's cute, but temporary. And what are your thoughts on the whole affair? How would you handle it? Oh, wise Augustus.
You flatter me, of course. How I would handle it, I think, is how I am handling it. Jeremiah has his place, he has his strengths. Let him perform them, and I'll be here to support him in any way he needs and asks. And so will the rest of the coterie, even separated they may lie.
I have always been fond of meat shields. Send the lamb to the slaughter to ensure that it's not you who ends up on the butcher block.
While you're not incorrect, I'd put it a little less crudely. They are useful, and my loyalty for now is to them, and to you, of course, through the help that you provide me.
There is nothing crude, Augustus, about slaughter. It is an art form. But I see your point. You two are young and still have designs on caring. I'm sure we'll be rid of that one day.
Maybe sooner rather than later. It hasn't served me well, at least how I thought it would. But it's not entirely useless at the moment.
It rarely does serve. It even led what some would consider the greatest or most famous of my family to their doom. But they write stories about him. Pathetic. All right. What is it that you desire?
Well, exactly what I desired when I walked in here so brashly the first time we met. Knowledge, and through knowledge, power. To what
But
end? Changes nightly, doesn't it?
you haven't accomplished my task for you. I need the focus.
Of course. And I'm not asking for anything now, but you asked what I desire. I've told you. I more so am looking for your advice.
On.
First, let me finish the report.
There's more.
Oh, please. I wouldn't be so upfront if I knew there was a high possibility I was incorrect. Beau. You know, not too long ago, by your standards, and I guess you could say by mine, I hold that sentiment. By complete accident, of course. Valentina was under a certain bond. A bond that I managed to destroy.
Yes, I'm still very curious on how that was done, but that is a mystery that we have all of the time in the world to uncover.
Of course. The mystery I am inquiring about is Beau herself. They act differently. Now, the way I see it, there's two options. Solomon has himself put a bond on them. But I don't see it. With my talks with him, and I do recall him saying you two had that conversation. And my name came up. I'm sure you have your reasons.
I do get bored easily. I think it's good to. What is it that they say these days? Stir the pot from time to time? As I said, I underestimated you, August. I didn't even think you'd be here to have this conversation. Ask me what it is you wish to ask me. No need for games.
Am I truly not the only one you've put some stake into within my own coterie?
I am benevolent, if that's what you're asking.
That's
When
enough for me.
one has a need that I can fulfill, I do everything I can to fulfill it. But that one wasn't for me. Let's just say I was repaying a favor.
Well, speaking of favors, the sire of that one have become quite an issue for us in particular. And Solomon, of course, the Baron, soon to be Baron, whatever he calls himself these nights, that we reside under and he lords over. Do you have any problem with her removal? If it comes to that?
I don't have a problem with anyone's removal. Other than my own, and I will not live long enough to see that day happen.
Well, back to the topic at hand. Your advice. Very complicated where I reside currently. The wolves, Talia, Valentina.
Well, my advice may not be what you're hoping to hear. I would say distance yourself as much as possible from these circumstances. Perhaps a new face, a new identity, a new opportunity to start over and rebuild. Because what is a face, after all, than a mask we wear to feed? I could give you that. A fresh start. I have plenty of clay to work with. What are they to you? Let them dig their own grave. Seems like they're doing a perfectly good job on their own. I have watched empires rise and fall, and they are all the same. Foolish devotion to one another. Sure, it may last for a while, sometimes for centuries, but the devotion to the ideals always brings about their downfall, because there will always be another hungry and ambitious individual looking to replace them with their own ideals. So why not be that individual, Augustus? Why not wait for their inevitable fall and build something in its place? Perhaps a movement of Duskborn? They are becoming more and more frequent these nights.
I try my best to keep tabs on them, but some of them are on that side of the fence and haven't come to the realization that crossing it may not be possible.
Don't keep tabs on them, inspire them, lead them, rule them. The blood that courses through your veins, albeit thin, comes from a line of ambitious thinkers who decided to overstep bounds with no fear of consequence. And while normally in a situation I would take umbrage with that, because they have crossed my family in the past, you aren't them. Even if you pretend to be, even if a little bit of their blood courses through your veins. But their ideology, their knack for experimentation, their lack of compassion, it could suit you. Especially since it almost caused your death quite recently. Did it not?
It did. Probably will again.
Only if you let it. Kindred are meant to rule. Too many of our brethren have forgotten that. Much dismay and much more death. That is why there are so few of my ilk left. But those that are simply waiting. Because we have time, and our time will come again. So which one would you rather be? short-lived and compassionate, or immortal and logical?
An easy answer, I think. Take some becoming. Some becoming I'm willing to do, of course. Under your very wise tutelage, Vesper.
You know our arrangement as long as I'm entertained. And so far, you're doing a very good job of entertaining me.
As for the Coterie, I would share your sentiment, but I seem to recall I've made a deal to find a certain location, and the way I see it currently, I can do that best through them. Starting over now when I've made progress already.
There's that tactical thinking. But when it comes time to sacrifice, are you willing to do so, or is your compassion going to make you foolish again? The offer is there. And should you need to take me up on it this evening or another evening many from now, it matters not to me. Play the game. But be careful of how much they get onto you. Because if they realize your intention, perhaps it's you that will be sacrificed. And that is dull. But I have a gift for you as well. And he rises off of the chair, springing upwards. Roll me a wits and awareness.
It's 2.
As he springs out of the chair, moving back towards the door to leave the suite, did the chair sigh? No time to think about that. Falling in step behind Vesper, he leads you over to the stairs, heading downwards. But as he reaches the ground floor where it's dark, he flips on a light switch, and as the halogens come on overhead, you see the cell. You see the monstrosity in the suit, waiting ever dutiful. And you see a young woman, maybe about 18, 19 years old. She looks like she's been crying for a long time. She is shackled to the wall, and she starts panting heavily as you approach, a whimper in her dry throat. Vesper approaches, running one of his abnormally long fingers along her jaw. My gift to you is the gift of silence. Eat this one all the way. sate the beast.
August will look at the individual. Are they bleeding at all?
Not at the moment, no.
He'll approach. And what is this one? Mortal?
Dinner. And don't ask questions. Just eat. And with that, he lashes a finger across, and you see a cut open in her neck, and the blood start to pour out. Not enough to kill her, not like he slit her throat, but just a slice. Unless you don't want my gift.
He'll step forward and dab his finger in the wound and use taste of blood to see if this woman is mortal or
just a human.
He hesitates for a moment, looks back at Vesper, and he will do as he asked.
Okay. As you drink, you feel the blood like liquid hot fire pouring down your throat, and it tastes so good. You get to that point where you would normally cut yourself off. This is where you'd stop. This is where you're supposed to stop. No bodies, no evidence, no... But you don't have to this time. What's gonna happen? Vesper takes care of it all. And so you keep drinking. Unless you choose to cut yourself off. You can tell me.
August has been here once before, and that's exactly why he got in the bad situation that he did with Solomon. And he knows this is not going to do what Vesper thinks it's going to do. He knows that you can't fully sate himself on that of mortal blood. He has a dependency of sort in the background. So he does what Vesper asks, and is curious to see if he'll even notice.
As you finish, leaving the limp, empty figure dangling against the wall, you have violated a Chronicle tenet and killed not in self-defense. Therefore, you will take 2 stains against your humanity. He may not have wanted to fill you up. He may have wanted to empty you out of humanity. So, with 2 stains, how many unmarked boxes does that leave you?
5.
How many humanity do you have?
7.
So you have 1 box unmarked.
Oh, sorry. Yes, my apologies.
So you can roll 1 dice. If you succeed, your humanity stays the same. If you fail, you lose a permanent humanity.
I thought it was the other way around, where whatever is left over.
Nope. It's easier to lose humanity when you have a lot of it than it is if you have very little.
So I rolled it, and it was cocked on my dice tray, and I rolled it again, and it was success.
Okay. Then your humanity holds for now.
For now.
But Azimitsi will get what they want. And they have the patience to wait for it. Vesper looks to you, then looks to the figure, then looks back to you. I hope that was an enjoyable experience. And if not, Perhaps it should become one. For this is how we win. My advice to you, use what you can, bail if you must. All that matters is yourself, and only yourself. Or else what's the point? Friends, allies, companions, they come and go, even amongst kindred. Best to turn on them before they turn on you. Because make no mistake, whether it's tomorrow or 100 years from now, they will. Now go, get my furcus.
Of course. In the meantime, is there anything else you require?
So many things, but nothing you can provide currently.
Solomon has made it clear to me, knowing our arrangement, that he intends to keep you happy, if he even can. So, let me know, and on his behalf, on yours, we can arrange something.
Wonderful. And a bit of warning for the next time you decide to visit. There have been dogs in my streets. Be extra careful.
It's good to know. Thank you for your time.
It lets you out through the shipping bay door, out onto the street. As the door finally closes, you realize this game that he's playing, while he's building you up, he's also breaking you down. But is that necessarily a bad thing? Because look at him. He's still here. He's still alive. He's very powerful. But to attain that power, he had to become a monster. Are you willing to have that same fate? This is where our... Oh, go ahead.
When you walk down a hill, you do it very slowly. Those are his thoughts on that matter.
This is where our story comes to a close. But not without one last scene. In our final scene, we find ourselves in a very, very dark room. Dark by design, because the one that dwells in it only feels comfortable where it's dark. But as previously mentioned, can't have shadows without just a little bit of light. And in this case, there is a little bit of light. A nightlight plugged into the wall. It flickers and dims as Athame, in her long, slender, feminine build, walks through the room. She moves over towards a doorway, grabbing the handle and turning the knob. She pushes it open to reveal a bed with a big, thick quilt. And under that quilt, an elderly woman, an abuelita, if you will, She stares, watching the woman sleep. Her fangs on full display. I'm hungry. But not for you. Not yet. She pulls back, closing the door once more. As she steps past the nightlight, she kicks it out of the wall, causing the whole room to plunge into darkness. We then see her emerge from the house, walking towards a car that's waiting nearby. A very classic old sedan with a driver standing outside. She passes the driver, touching him on the shoulder, and says, "Take me home, and then call Jeremiah." And that is where our story comes to a close this evening. Thank you so much to these amazing players. Thank you to everybody watching at home. Go follow St. Pete by Night on all of that social media you see down at the bottom, and sign up for a Ko-fi membership, because you can see all the cool behind the scenes stuff that happens here, including early access to some of the new artwork that's coming out, including lots and lots of behind the scenes footage, and much, much more. Trust me, we are going to make it worth your while, and you help benefit this program, this channel, and this community by doing so. But for these amazing players, I'm Kent. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.